Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. We're your boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Blaylock. Yesterday evening, everybody, we saw a former Toronto Blue Jay come up in the clutch, delivering an RBI double to tie up the ball game in the top of the fifth. The player that I'm referring to, obviously, is Teoscar Hernandez. Shout out to him. Quick pat on the back, dude. I mean, happy for you, man. Literally happy for him. He has got a ring with those LA Dodgers. Such a quality individual and such a quality player. And that's actually what another former Toronto Blue Jay, quality player in his own right, Kevin Pillar, was talking about on the broadcast, kind of calling out Ross Atkins a little bit and the fact that we did let this guy go. And this isn't really the first time that we've heard this from him or any of the analysts. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what this means for the team and everything like that. But before we even get into any of that, hit the like, smash the subscribe button, and then just your quick thoughts, man, on the New York Yankees having a cataclysmic collapse in the fifth inning.
It reminds me of Texas Rangers 2015.
Literally.
Except even worse, because the Blue Jays at that time were only down by 1. You were up by 5, and you blew the game. You had them come back and tie it. That was just abysmal. So, I mean, GG Yankees, you kind of beat yourselves in this one, and GG to the Dodgers. A lot of former Blue Jays, actually 6 of them won rings, apparently. So
wow.
There you go.
There you go, man. There you go. So all of our former guys are doing really well.
Yeah.
The current guys, not so much. Let's flash over and show the people what it was that Kevin Pillar had to say about all of this.
Yeah, so Kevin Pillar, as you guys know, was on the Game 3, Game 4, Game 5 panel of Sportsnet. And awesome that Kevin Pillar was just on the panel itself and hearing his insight, especially when you came to a lot of outfielder kind of decisions. But he was on the panel, and of course, you can't go that far without talking about Teoscar Hernandez when it comes to the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series. And right here, this fan-sided article says, former Blue Jay star puts Ross Atkins on blast for Teoscar Hernandez. Now, he didn't come out outright and say Ross Atkins is an idiot for trading away or not signing back Teoscar Hernandez. It was subtly put in the words he said. The quote is, "It's a shame when you have a guy like that in a place like this," and quotes, or parentheses, "Blue Jays management," and parentheses, "did not decide to bring him back." So he said it's a shame that you had a guy like this in a place like this and decided not to bring him back. Yeah. So what I take from this is, I always still agree that the trading away of Teoscar Hernandez was a good decision. The Blue Jays desperately needed bullpen help. And at the time, in that 1 year, Eric Swanson came back, was phenomenal in the bullpen. Teoscar Hernandez in the year of Seattle wasn't so good. He was kind of dipping down from where he was with the Blue Jays. So in that 1 year scope, it was a good trade. However, when Teoscar Hernandez hits free agency, I think that's what Kevin Pillar is referring to here. How did we not bring him back to Toronto after he ended his contract with Seattle and went into free agency? That, for me, was the big mistake, that where Ross Atkins' mentality was still in the eyes of, well, we got to cut away strikeouts, we got to get more contact, and for whatever reason, he didn't think Teoscar Hernandez was that guy, and they didn't offer him the money that he wanted.
Yeah, it feels kind of like a gross misevaluation of talent and worth, honestly, right? I think that we had Teo for so long, and it was clear to a lot of Blue Jays fans how much this guy could do and how much he could impact the game. I mean, you were talking about a silver slugger and somebody who for a long period of time protected Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did so, I believe, for the majority of that 2021 season, right? So, this guy had a lot of worth, and it feels like we kind of undersold what he really meant to us and what he could do. And the LA Dodgers, I mean, that is an organization right there that knows talent. And can get the best out of their guys. And they wanted him. They brought him over. And the second that he put on Dodger blue, it was like Teoscar Hernandez is back to the days of old, like he was with the Toronto Blue Jays. We were actually just looking at his championship win probability added, all this. If you put any weight into that stat, then great. I mean, Teo did a really, really good job in the World Series. He was quiet in the first couple games and then really turned it on, batted .350 when it was all said and done. And across the board, he earned himself this ring, right? I think what Pillar is saying is kind of echoing what a lot of Blue Jays fans have been saying for a long period of time. Is that was a really, really good player.
Yes,
and
it was.
We let him slip away, and we probably shouldn't have let him slip away. Why are we not going out and actively trying to either replace that production, either get him back, or also too, why are we letting something similar happen right now with potentially Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
Right. Well, I was going to actually say, Ross Atkins made a comment in his postseason presser like a month ago, and he was talking about, well, bringing in free agents isn't that easy because you have to convince people to come and play north of the border. Okay, well, if that's the case, well, then you have a very small, limited pool of people. The people who you can convince are guys who you made their careers what they are today. Teoscar Hernandez is one of those guys, and I guarantee if you were to give Teoscar Hernandez the right offer, he would have came back. If you guys don't remember, there was rumblings that we actually did offer Teoscar Hernandez a deal. This is true, and it wasn't enough for Teoscar Hernandez and his camp to say, well, this isn't good enough for me. I want to get a little bit more money and go in and go deep into the playoffs. Dodgers offered the money. They have the team to go deep in the playoffs, and he went over there. So I don't know what it is, why you couldn't, when you have that small pool of people and a guy who's willing to come back, why couldn't you lock that in if you knew that it's that hard to get guys coming over north of the border?
Well, because I think it goes back to the fact we're not valuing him, and maybe we're not even valuing that player.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to say prototype, but
the slugger type of guy. Right.
We're not valuing that asset as highly as it probably should be. Mm-hmm. You look over at the LA Dodgers, who are now world champions. Credit to them, man. But our whole mentality is, pitching and defense. And where was their pitching? The bullpen was great. Blake Trinan is phenomenal, right? But, Jack Flaherty got himself destroyed yesterday.
Yep.
That guy went 1.1 innings. They were, just having to continue to recycle arms and go through it, for the Dodgers bullpen right there. So it's not like, they were a strong, pitching defense first type of team. They had Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman and Teoscar Hernandez.
Right.
That was their top four.
Right.
And whenever there was a moment where one of them was on base, which was a lot, by the way, folks, they were on base quite a bit, the following guy would then either advance them or drive them in or do something profitable, right? Which is something that, when we were watching yesterday, I hadn't seen the Blue Jays do that in time. It's like Freddie would come up and it's a clutch moment and you needed it and your heart's in your throat and you're wondering what's going to happen and he delivers, dude. They are a slug first team, and I'm not saying that that's the only way that you win a series, World Series or anything like that, but there does need to be an element to that if you're going to go deep in the playoffs.
Well, of course, the Dodgers, they have the money to pay for 3 MVPs on their team, and that's obviously a big part of it. But I think the key point here is you got to evaluate good players, and you got to know when you have a good player, and you got to find a way to keep a good player on the team. And you mentioned Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I got a sneaky suspicion that they might fumble the bag similar to Teoscar Hernandez. Look, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a handful of people that want to actually come and play north of the border and stay here for a long time. You don't let that guy slip away, because if he slips away, he ain't coming back, and you ain't going to find anybody in the free agent market to replace him with. You're going to have to overpay out of your ass to find a guy like that, or to get lucky and develop a guy like that, or sign a guy like that when he's 16 years old. So
yeah, exactly.
You need to find a way to keep good talent here in Toronto.
100%, right? And you can try this offseason, and I assume they will a little bit, to bring Teoscar Hernandez back. But, the work's going to be cut out for you. It was already difficult in the first place to bring people north of the border. Like you said, now he's 2 years removed from being a Toronto Blue Jay. He just won himself a championship, and he said that he would 1,000% of the time, want to come back to the LA Dodgers if they offer him a contract, which, from their standpoint, why the hell wouldn't you? This guy was great. So, yeah, now going out and getting free agents when you're a 74-win team and, you're not offering what they should be worth and everything like that, it's going to be that much more difficult. Guerrero being here, wanting to be here and everything like that, I don't want to be in a situation where years from now he's in a Yankee or a Dodger or a Mets uniform. We're sitting there watching the World Series, and, at that point it's, one of our other former Toronto Blue Jay players, George Springer, is there being like, yeah, Guerrero is such a great player. Why didn't they decide to keep him?
Right.
We were watching that happen right fucking now.
Yeah.
So, let's not do that again, please.
Yeah, and I know we've already talked about it, but you really got to hope that Ross Atkins... Hey guys, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below or click the link in the description to join the action. Available in Ontario only, must be 19 years older to participate, and guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Saw what happened this postseason, especially when it comes to power. You got to realize you got to keep the guys here. You got to be able to go on the free agency and bring in guys like that to make any real impact on the World Series. And bring in quality players. Please, no more defense. Please, no more defense.
Yeah.
If we have an offseason we're going spending on defense, It's over, guys. I'll say it. It's over. You'll see the thumbnail and everything. It's done.
Well, to his credit, I will say this. Had the Yankees had a little bit better defense yesterday, maybe we would still be having a World Series to play. But I would also then say the Toronto Blue Jays would never be in a situation where they are up 5 runs after the first 3 innings. Because we don't have the offense to do so. So you can only blow the game, defensively speaking, when you've actually put up runs to begin with. And that is something that we are currently incapable of doing.
No, yeah, we can't, guys. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below of what you think Kevin Pillar said. And, hey, guys, it's free agency time, so we're going to be coming out with a lot more videos and live streams covering the entire free agency for the Toronto Blue Jays. So hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today if you want to stay up to date.
Yeah, $3 a month, become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members and our YouTube members, too. You guys are amazing. We appreciate every single one of you.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
go Jays, go!